Ultimately, I wanted to make this video for all of you aspiring investors and those that are just curious about real estate investing and the truth about if you can actually reach financial freedom from investing in real estate. Over the past 4 years, I have purchased 4 properties, 3 of them being buy and hold properties and 1 of them being a primary home. So with those 4 properties, I ultimately sold 1 off and I'm occupying 1, which leaves me with 2 properties totaling 6 units. And I want to go through the breakdown of numbers on these properties, how much they're making me, how much they cost to own, and if you can truly reach financial freedom with investing in real estate. A lot of this is very personal information, but I have no problem sharing with you because I want to be extremely transparent about real estate investing and my journey. So if you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, it would really help my channel. Starting with this duplex that I purchased in 2022, we ended up purchasing this property for $270,000. This is a duplex that was in a neighborhood that we knew like the back of our hand, so we felt extremely comfortable investing in this area. The population is growing year over year, the property values are increasing, so we knew that we wanted to invest here for the long term. So we ended up getting it under contract, like I said, for $270,000, and we had a seller finance on this property for $60,000. We ended up using a commercial loan in order to purchase this property, and we negotiated with the seller to give us a $60,000 seller finance. Luckily, with our commercial loan, they were able to use the $60,000 of seller finance in order to put towards our down payment needed. So out of pocket, we only really had to put down roughly $19,000 for the down payment and closing costs, which we pulled from a home equity line of credit on another property we owned. We knew with this property that we have to go in there and renovate the units and bring them up to market standard because they were getting below market rents. At the time of purchase, one was an occupied unit and the other unit was bringing in $1,100. And we knew that this was way below market. So let's get into the numbers so you could actually see what those market rents are and what we raised them to. Going over our monthly costs on this property, our principal, interest, taxes, and insurance all came to $1,567.94. Next, we had our property management company. Now, you don't have to have a property management company, but we prefer it when keeping our properties really nice and having someone that's a professional. We just feel comfort with that. So we pay our property manager $208 every single month for this specific property. Our water and sewer averages about $90 per month. We have seller finance in there. Like I said, we finance $60,000 from the seller. So that comes in at about $200 per month that we have to pay the seller. And then also we have the HELOC payment. Like I said, we use part of the HELOC in order to put down the down payment and renovation costs when we first purchased that property. And it's lower than $400, but we pay extra towards our HELOC every single month. And that brings our grand total to $2,465.94 per month that we have to pay every single month on this property. Now, there are variable expenses, but we'll get to that in a second. Now, like I said before, one unit was empty and the other unit was only bringing in $1,100 per month. Shortly after purchase, while we were renovating the top unit, the bottom unit tenant decided to leave, so we were able to renovate that, and both units now came in at a total of $2,850 of income from our new tenants that we were able to bring in. The top unit was $1,450 per month, and the bottom unit is $1,350 per month. So our total cash flow on this property is $384.06 every single month. Now, there are variable costs like I mentioned before. This, for example, this is a scope of work that we had from a contractor that we hired to renovate the top unit and do a little bit of outside work to the property when we first purchased it. We had to go in there and actually have renovation costs. We ended up spending $5,300 just on the upstairs unit and the outside of the property. As you can see, apartment turnover, unit A, repair cracks in ceilings and walls, paint the whole unit. We ended up going Swiss coffee. I don't know if you know that color, but it's a really good color for all our units, and we actually use it for all of our units. So it's a quick tip. If you are looking for a color, you can go ahead and check that one out. We also had them replace the carpet, tear it all out, and put new carpet in for the new tenant, and then also scrape and paint ledger board outside. So like I said, there are variable expenses like this one when we have a turnover. And then once that bottom unit tenant actually moved out, we ended up renovating that. Here's the scope of work on that from the same exact contractor, where they went in, they had to repair some things in the bathroom, like remove the tub surround, repair damaged wood, install a new tub surround, paint bathroom, replace drain under bathroom sink. Like I said, you can go through here and look at the scope of work that they did, but that's an additional $4,300 that we had to pay for that unit. So all in all, when you include all the money that we put into this property with the down payment, the closing costs, and the renovations that we had to do to get our new tenants in there, we ended up spending roughly $28,600. And if you take our monthly cash flow 12 and then to divide that into the money that we actually spent on this property, we're getting roughly about a 16.1% return on investment. Now, one quick tip, there are going to be variable maintenance expenses when you're owning rental properties. It's just going to happen. So you really want to set aside money every single month from your cash flow that you can have as a safety and a reserves account for when anything does come up on the property, or if someone moves out and you have a vacancy for a couple of months. The reason that we don't include that right now is because we don't touch any of the money from this property that we make. We're having it go to a separate account and just stack up in order to use that cash flow with the next property I'm going to talk about in order to purchase our next property. So currently we're just at the saving point and we're taking all of the cash flow, putting it into one account, and then using that for another property down the road when we have enough money in it. Now on to our second property, which is a 4-unit apartment complex. We actually purchased this in December of 2020 with the intent to house hack it, and that's exactly what we did. We lived in one of the units and rent out the other ones so that it basically pays down our living expense, and we basically didn't have one, so we could save at a much higher rate. We purchased this property for $430,000 with a seller finance of $5,000, and we used a FHA 3.5% down because it was a primary home for us. And you can use an FHA 3.5% loan for anything between a 1 and 4 unit residential building. We ended up putting $25,577.74 down on this property, and that included the down payment and the closing costs. At the time of this purchase, we really didn't know what we were getting ourselves into. It was our first property with more of a major rehab, if you want to say that. It was mostly cosmetic, but to us, it was a lot bigger than anything we had done before. So we really didn't have a good grasp of what our renovation budget would be. This was purchased from an owner who really neglected the property and just kind of wanted to get rid of it. We found this off market and got a great deal on it, but let's go ahead and jump into the numbers. At the time of purchase, all units really needed a cosmetic facelift. All the tenants that were in there were really bad tenants and they weren't paying, and all of their rents were about $1,100, which was way below market rent. Starting off with our mortgage, our principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, that was $2,437.45. Moving on to our property management. Like I said, we love property management and our property manager specifically. So we pay him $436 per month on this property. The water and sewer, we pay for all of the units, and that averages roughly $275 per month, as well as the gas and heat, which is typically about $525 per month. We have an oil boiler right now for all 4 units, and it's separated per unit. So it costs a lot right now with the $525 per month. Currently, I am cutting the grass, so we don't have a lawn bill. And lastly, I have a company that comes out and sprays for pests and rodents every other month, and that costs about $66.67 every single month. Now, at the time of living there, we didn't have all 4 units rented because we lived in one of the units and weren't collecting income in that unit. But now, since we moved out, it is a full rental property for us, and currently we are collecting $5,775 a month in all of the rents. And with our expense of $3,740.12 every single month, that brings our cash flow to about $2,034.88 every single month. But let's get into how much we had to spend to renovate all of the units and get them up to market, as well as change out all of the tenants because we were way over our head. We ended up spending $60,582.07 on the down payment, closing costs, and all of the renovations on this property in order to update all of the units. But let's go into some of the renovations we had to do in order to update these units. In the unit that we were living in, we actually lived in it for a while without this renovation, but the tub was literally falling through the floor, so we ended up having a contractor come out and pretty much remodel that whole bathroom from the studs up. It looks beautiful now, but that cost us $10,500. A couple months later, when we were able to move out the current renters and get new renters in, we had to turn over that unit, including another bathroom model and the whole unit remodel, which that ended up costing us about $6,700. And here's the scope of work that's listed right here. Not to mention the total cost of another unit that we had in that property that we hired the wrong contractor contractor that completely screwed us. We had to hire another contractor to go back and fix all of his mistakes, which cost us a lot more than what we should have had. And all of those costs ended up being $5,818 for that specific unit. And don't get me started with bed bug treatment. I hope I never have to run into this again, but we had a tenant bring bed bugs in and they were on the last owner's lease, which had nothing said in there about bringing in bed bugs. So that cost us about $2,550 that we had to pay for our tenants bringing in bed bugs into our property and getting to all the other units. It's safe to say we put a lot of luxury vinyl plank into the property and took out majority of the carpet. I'm not going to go into every single cost, but I hope that was somewhat insightful for you to see. But overall, like I said, we put $60,582.07 into the property. If you take our annual cash flow on this property and divide it into that number, that means we're getting about a 40.3% return on investment on this property, which is pretty insane. Overall, between 6 units and 2 properties, we make roughly about $2,418.94 every single month, except when there's variable costs like a maintenance expense or something like that. And if you break that into per unit, that means we're making about $408 per unit every single month. Now, the real question is, can rental properties truly provide you financial freedom? And how many properties do you need in order to reach that financial freedom? Let me tell you that. So yes, 100% rental properties can help you reach financial freedom and provide income for you so that you don't have to work and you can do the things that you love. I know people firsthand that are in this position, but it's not how you would think. No matter what anyone says to you, real estate investing is never truly passive because you have to manage someone. If you have rental properties and you are managing them yourself, that means that you are having to put time in to manage that, and it's not truly passive. In other words, if you have a property manager, you have to manage the property manager so that they're taking care of your portfolio and you are not losing any money or having them make big mistakes on your properties. So for example, my number is $15,000. If I were to make $15,000 from rental properties every single month, that would be my passive income goal right now, to where I could quit my job, quit my day job, have my wife quit her day job, and we would be just fine. Now, the reason I picked $15,000 is because my real goal is $10,000, but we have an excess of $5,000 every single month that would go to variable costs that would come up if we need a new roof, if we were to need a new water heater in a property. But the main purpose is to have that $5,000 keep stacking up, so I build a reserves account so I'd never have to dip into that $10,000 of income that I'm receiving from the properties that we would need in order to pay our cost of living. So currently with my portfolio, I'm making about $2,418.94 per month on my properties, and that's from cash flow. What you would do is divide it like I just did by 6 units, and you would bring that to $403.15 of cash flow per unit. Now I would take my goal of $15,000, divide it by the $403.15 per unit of cash flow that I'm receiving, and that would leave me with 38 units that are providing $403.15 per unit of cash flow every single month in order to reach my goal of $15,000. So with my 6, I only have 32 more to go. Now, if you're considering investing in real estate and it intrigues you, you'll definitely want to watch this video next. The best 3 strategies for beginners to invest in real estate today. Happy investing.